Hey YouTubers, it's Charlie. So really big news. Just in the last couple days, Ian McShane has been announced as joining the cast of Game of Thrones. HBO hasn't confirmed it, but like a bunch of legitimate news sites have, so I'm just taking it as fact at this point. He is joined, but they're saying it's going to be a really small part, but really critical. So there's all kinds of theories about who he could be playing. If you remember, I did a casting video where I listed a bunch of characters that they were trying to find. Most of those were major roles. Like there was a legendary knight with a legendary sword they were looking for. A lot of people are like, maybe that's Arthur Dane, so maybe Ian McShane is Arthur Dane. But I don't think that's the case, just because the character that they're looking for that's supposed to have that legendary sword is supposed to be an amazing swordsman in real life. So like the actual actor has to be really awesome with a sword. Think more like Oberyn Martell dancing around with his spear. So Ian McShane doesn't seem like the type to be really quick with a blade. That's why right now, like my top 3 choices for people that he could be would be 1, he's the Mad King in a Jaime flashback, which would be, relatively minor role, but very, very important scene in the history of A Song of Ice and Fire. He could be someone else inside that flashback. He could be Rickard Stark, he's about the right age for that. He was Ned Stark's father. Or, staying with the flashback theme, he could be Howland Reed, who was at the big Tower of Joy encounter with Ned Stark, Lyanna Stark, and Arthur Dane. Realistically, think about how old Ian McShane is right now. Like, this is a current picture of him right now. Even though, Game of Thrones might make him look a little bit younger, they're not going to, use CG to DH him. So he'll be playing a character that is comparable to his real-life age. A lot of people are wondering if he's the mystery pirate that Game of Thrones is trying to cast, the Euron Greyjoy character that, everyone thinks it's Euron Greyjoy, so I'm just using that name. The problem with that is that I think that character is going to be a little bit younger. Like, Ian McShane looks even older than the actor that played Balon Greyjoy, and that wouldn't really sync up with the ages the characters are cast at. Jaime Lannister, Cersei Lannister, even though they're like in their mid-30s in the books, they're in their mid-40s on the show. Like, the show ages everyone up about 10 years, just because they want to have like these Tom and Marjorie scenes, and it only works if everybody gets aged up. The other big possibility is that he could be playing Samwell's father, Randall Tarley. Now, a lot of people are pointing out that Randall Tarley is supposed to be a major role, but the thinking is that, maybe he plays Randall Tarley and he's only on screen for a little while in season 6 and then becomes a bigger character in season 7 if Randall Tarley is going to be a major character in season 6, 7, and 8. They definitely didn't shy around his character too much during season 5. Stannis Baratheon, like meanest person ever, even complimented Samwell on his father's battle prowess, despite the fact that Randall Tarley fought against him during Robert's Rebellion. We know Randall Tarley is coming to the show, we don't know how old they're going to cast the actor. So just add that to the top of the list along with the Mad King. Honestly, I think he might be a little too old to play Howland Reed too, because Howland Reed would be of a comparable age to Ned Stark, and Sean Bean does not look anywhere close to the same age as Ian McShane. Sean Bean is no spring chicken anymore, but it's like you can only age actors down so much without using CG, and that's not what Game of Thrones does. Like, they don't CG actors' ages down. They just cast like really, really young versions of them, like the Cersei flashback. Just to lay a little context for Jaime flashback, possibly to the Mad King, just because it's a really important time in his life. It was like a big turning point for the kingdom. I think it would be amazing foreshadowing for what's happening in King's Landing in like the next couple seasons. Most notably with Cersei. Like, think about it this way. Joffrey was like the closest thing to the Mad King. He's already dead, so there wouldn't be a lot of context for that. But what if Jaime were forced to make the same type of choice that he made with the Mad King? Now, I did a Jaime history video, so I'll add a link for that in the description, but when you read the book, he kind of explains his thought process as to like how he came to the decision that he needed to kill the Mad King. It was only a measure of last resort. He told the story to Brienne when they were taking the bath together, and it's pretty close to what was in his POV chapters in the books when he's talking about when he killed the Mad King. But the books have a little bit more time to explain it, so there's just a little more context. You get the sense that like he was at the end of his rope, and he's a fairly rational person, even though he's very selfish. So what if he were presented with similar circumstances, like Cersei starts spiraling out of control? Look at this look on her face at the end of season 5. She looks like she is cooking up some terrible plan of revenge. Now we just need to say, like, she is nowhere near as crazy as the Mad King was. The Mad King was called the Mad King for a reason. And even though they haven't said it on the show, like, Jaime was forced to guard his room while he heard him raping his wife, Rhaela Targaryen. Remember, Targaryens marry inside the family. So think about how Jaime deals with no-win situations and what kind of no-win situation the show might present him with in season 6, 7, or 8. Now, just to be clear, Lena Headey is one of the main actors on the show. She's one of HBO's main attractions. I don't think we're anywhere close to the narrative telling us that Jaime is going to run Cersei through. There's way too much for him to deal with right now with Myrcella dying, this stuff going on with Dorne, and Cersei's trial. Like, he's not just gonna turn around in the next 6 episodes and run her through. If it ever did come to that, they would probably push that to season 8. I mean, they would save that for the last season. But just to give you more Ian McShane context, if you guys have HBO Now access, or if you have access to HBO On Demand or anything like that, rewatch some Deadwood with Ian McShane. He is so much the Mad King. I mean, that's not the character that he plays on Deadwood, but his character does have a certain regal bearing, even though it's the Wild West. Say what you're gonna say, Rickard Stark, or prepare for effing eternal silence. Seriously, I don't think it's possible for a group of characters to swear more than they swore on Deadwood, especially Calamity Jane. I mean, Deadwood's just a great series, so you should check it out anyway. But he is both the perfect deadbeat dad, so I mean, he's perfect for Samwell's father, for Randall Tarley, just because he has this commanding presence, and he would be older at this point in the series, or the Mad King. Those are really my top 2 choices, but just remember, his role is supposed to be very minor, very important in Season 6, but that doesn't say that he's not coming back in Season 7. If it does turn out to be a flashback, then it probably will be the only time that we see him. For example, I'm not expecting to see young Cersei again, but how great would it be to get like a Jaime flashback scene? I know a lot of people want him to be the Valonqar, the person that Maggie the Frog prophesied would end up killing Cersei. A lot of people logically thought that would be Tyrion, but it would be more poetic if it was Jaime, one of the few people who actually loved her. Jaime is the Oathbreaker, so in the fan fiction that I will write, he kills Cersei with Oathkeeper, but that's just way too hammy for the show to ever do. That's pure fan fiction territory. Let me know though, if Jaime were to ever kill Cersei, how would you want him to do it? Maybe push her out the tower window at Winterfell. That would be pretty cool. I could see them doing that as a parody video on SNL. So now it's your guys' turn. Just let me know every single theory you have about who Ian McShane is going to be playing on the show. Hallan Reed, Mad King, Randall Tarley. I know a lot of people are still going to wonder about Euron Greyjoy, but I feel like that character is going to be younger on the show. And new round of the giveaway starts now. All you have to do to enter is be a subscriber and leave a comment on this video. I'm going to be doing a Q&A video that I'll announce the winner in it. And the giveaway in my last video is still going on too, so there's actually a double giveaway right now. The funny news that I saw out of Belfast is that the government wants HBO to leave the wall set up so they could turn it into a tourist attraction once the show is over. And it's a great idea. A lot of people like to visit Game of Thrones sets, but what's going to happen if the White Walkers tear down the wall during the War for the Dawn? Anytime a bunch of characters point to something and say, look how huge that is, it's almost invincible. Nothing's getting through. Of course, something has to eventually get through. It has to come crashing down. If that were the case, HBO might just arrange to rebuild part of the wall afterwards. And when you think about it, I mean, most of that would be like a CG effect anyway. They're actually shooting the show right now. There have been some pictures from the set. It's up in and around where the Vale scenes take place. There aren't any main actors on set, and there's some Northern Lords that the show is trying to cast. They're not on set either, just because they haven't been cast yet. So we're still in early stages of filming. So what's going to happen next is because I talked about a whole bunch of characters that I haven't done bonus videos for yet, like the Mad King and Hallan Reed. Those will be the next bonus character videos that I do. While you guys wait for that, you can click here to learn all about Jaime Lannister's history, especially what happened in and around Robert's Rebellion. And you can click here to learn all about Game of Thrones' 8th season plan and the prequel that they've been talking about. It's supposedly George R. R. Martin said it's Dunk and Egg is what's in discussion right now. Thank you so much for watching, everybody. Let's high five. I'll see you guys tomorrow.